powered by Omen and HyperX. CFO back to the blue side. Talia once again hitting the bench. T1 don't want to see it. It's Game 5 Fearless, so there's not a lot left in a lot of different positions. It's time to start cooking. Rest on stage. See what T1 have up their sleeves. Red side means someone is getting counterpick, and each and every T1 player can be pretty lethal with that option.
As we get to Game 5, so many of the mainstays no longer available. Few of them going to remain banned. After seeing the impact that Owner had on the Jarvan, I think the Lee ban, very obvious. Whereas, despite what the scoreline may tell you, everyone that watched that game knew that Honky was a rate boss. Those bans toward him, keep him coming. As it was mostly Faker's impact outside of the lane, able to very quickly make his impact known on the rest of the map.
And again, just a new generation of mid laner. He was 6.
Unreal.
When Faker went to Worlds. Made that run. With SKT back in the day. T1 debating what the final ban is going to be. Renekton, TF, Lee Sin, a lot of safe blind picks taken away.
Big top laner still open. Ornn. Okay. Gnar, Camille. So we could be looking towards. But in a Game 5 like this, we'll see. In theory, the ability to get a lot of value out of being on red side is there.
Jace, makes me nervous is what Jace does.
Yeah.
Jace, a champion who can take over games. Jace, a champion who can fall apart, most certainly. Rest known for bringing that spice. Oh.
We are looking. We knew it wasn't going to be blind GP. It's going to be the Ornn. Guaranteed engage. Despite the fact that, shockingly, this team into this series there are still Rakan, Alistar, Rel, all on the table. But this guarantees that you will have the opportunity to try and make some big engage plays. And this series has been all about the team fights.
Certainly has. And this is a tendency we've seen from CFO before. Domestically, when their back was against the wall, they defaulted to scaling. They put their faith in that late game team fighting. And in Game 1, they did almost weather the storm. They did have that better early game. But now with Jace locked in, potentially the Sejuani combo alongside of it, this is going to be tough.
A lot of comfort here. Jace for Doran, theoretically, could be flexed. We have seen some LCK teams do it. And my guess would be maybe an AD carry or support pickup here on free. But first, what is CFO going to go towards? Great pick. The pick away. I like it a lot. Ensuring there's no Poppy in the game anymore. You pick away one of Guma's best champions.
And a champion they banned most other games.
Yep.
And finally, Kaiwing had the Nautilus previously, now has that reliable engage source. Keria, this is where we need to see those counter picks.
And into Rakan, we've seen things like Maokai. Poppy, obviously, after that last game, pretty sure CFO will be happy there off the table. As this is another old, reliable for the GOAT as he picks up the Orianna here. Ball delivery system, obviously, in the form of the Sejuani. And then, I guess, maybe some additional bans to try and ensure that Faker has a decent matchup. Because what he did on Sylas in that Game 1, despite the skill shots not always landing, the pressure that he provided was undeniable. And even though, in some cases, like in the top lane play, might have been better if he played it a bit more slow. T1 wouldn't have had the early game if it wasn't for him immediately ganking Doran. What was it, level 4? Yeah. After he got an early lead.
Making that play happen, and that is what you want, again, when the pressure is on you to perform, when you are the expected favorite in the series, or at least we're coming into the day. Yeah, how a lot feels uncertain.
That's a great point, Dracos.
But Orianna, you said old, reliable. I mean, it would be hard to think of a player in the world currently playing who probably has more games on this pick than Faker does.
Goes for a lot of champions as the Lulu taken away yet another, even though the champion has seen repeated round of nerfs. This is, I think, the type of situation where you will always just be able to get good value. The fact that Braum is gone, you're going to be very happy about a CFO. Does mean that it makes it a lot harder to actually block the Ornn ultimate. It's the Ahri taken away here.
trying to limit early game playmakers and comfort. On cue, 3 games on the pick.
Still have Kindred available. Could be an angle. Can go towards more tankiness. We saw the Mundo come out from Junja as well. What is that mid jungle going to be? 80 carry, I think most likely here, and then carry up. Probably cooking up something for the R5. That is the Jinx. Already a lot of support available for this pick, and a pick that, as Guma knows very well as well, Xayah really struggles with the range advantage, is a big deal.
Powerful scaling. Orianna, the Jinx. Is it something that CFO want to match, or do they want to play for an earlier stage of the game? A lot of hovers. A lot of hovers. Okay, Tristana locked in. Maybe a Lilia to follow. Gives them the magic damage that their composition needs. Decent into the tanky junglers. But they need a magic damage jungler at this point. Likely the mid lane Tristana. I mean, likely, yeah, it's the mid lane Tristana.
Is it Nidalee?
Velvet?
Could be looking towards that as well.
Sejuani will be unkillable if they take this risk, but they will have a powerful early game.
Happy to make consideration.
Zyra.
He brings back the Zyra. Someone pull it out in the mid-season playoffs as well. Gonna go back as the Carrier Kench comes through, colloquially and domestically known as the Engage Kench, which, given how today's series has played out, should come as no surprise. So to summarize, top lane prio definitely there for T1. Rest just looking to absorb the blow. Mid jungle, the setup isn't great, but if you can start getting ahead early, this clear speed of the Zyra obviously really tough to deal with. And then bot lane, the laning matchup is favored, but no one should be dying in that 2v2.
Most likely not. But we've seen a lot of lanes, a lot of situations we didn't expect to be explosive, turn into bloodbaths, turn into fist fights early. We've got double 80 carry scaling on one side, the Orion and the Jinx on the other. Both sides with some solid engage options. CFO certainly favored there, but in the straight front to back, Tahm Kench and a control mage, and kind of the OG scaling hyper carry alongside Sivir. It's a lot to deal with.
As we go into game number 5, a lot of the games blown up early, but I think this one might go the distance, Dracos. And all I ask is for a competitive game with a fair share of blowouts in this series, but come on, for game 5, we got to bring the fire!
That we do! Winner of the series, moving on to face BLG, loser, face Movistar Koi. I had the chance next to me, but I think they need more. Oh. Should we help?
Let's help!
T1 fans, I hear you, but CFO, I hear some chants here and there. I need to hear you together. If you believe in CFO, if you believe in the upset, let me hear you now, Vancouver!
The T1 fans, one last time!
Nothing's happened and it's already a sick game, dude. Oh.
All right, no action, first 15 minutes, let's go.
All right, we're looking at Junja's early clear. You mentioned it before. If an AP jungler gets any kind of early advantage, exponential scaling on that clear speed. On the opposite side for Owner, much more playmaking, yes, most certainly, but historically, the AP options were what were good into the tank junglers. But we saw with the Jarvan, Owner needed to make those early plays happen, and he did. Really started snowballing T1 in this game as HongQ determined to play aggressive. Rocket jump level 1.
Gonna deny a minion from Faker. PTA procced. HongQ gonna be decently happy with that. Getting a good amount of Doran's Blade value. So Rest also going for the Unsealed Spellbook. Really further leaning into what we kind of expected, which is try and interact as little as possible with the Jace. As Zany goes again with the E.
Level 2. Satchel Charge laid down some damage onto Faker, keeping the push going. Owner for now focused on his own clear.
Oh, and look at Junja. that rep buff dying while he was already basically at his Raptors, showing his knowledge of the Zyra clear.
Good news for T1 is it looks like they spotted the movement from Zyra. They have vision in that brush, so seeing that Junja is about a camp ahead right now, and that is just the difference in these champions, their relative clear speed. That much more opportunity to either reset or get an early gank off. Kaiwing on the bottom side of the map. Person with the most setup.
Honkyu early base into TP, into dropping a ward where Owner got him a bunch of times in the last game. This is game 5. You don't want to give up any free early advantages. Junja, there's the full clear. Owner, he's still on his red. One of the big reasons why we see the Zyra sub 3-minute clear.
On cue. 2, 3 autos, waiting for the 4th to get the reset. Faker chunked out. Does still have his TP, but on cue. Trying to keep him here, trying to jail him here. Junja on the way. Plant, just a bit of damage. This is where it gets hard. Honkyu ready to rocket jump over the wall if he has to.
I don't think you get back there.
Faker losing so much. Because he had the TP, the health trade might not have mattered, but because they pushed this wave in, CFO able to grab that first play, only further establish that gold advantage for Honkyu. And if he gets this wave in, likely to get the free reset as well.
Textbook place to come through. As a rest.
Dash out, but on the edge of death there.
He's healing up. Yeah, I think, especially against Ornn with the W available, I don't know if you want to run the risk. It looks like that's not the case. But again, these early game, it's textbook. You load into the draft, Tristana as prio, try and harass as much as possible. You have so much tempo as Zyra into Sejuani. And even though they don't get Faker, they're not able to get his flash, which I think also would have been a really big win. They're able to get a plate. An early experience lead. CS still somewhat even. Or relatively even, let's say. So it's dead even here between Honkyu and Faker.
They balance it out. Kaiwing needs to be a little bit careful here. Base damage from Tahm Kench, very powerful.
Engage Kench.
Engage Kench is
Just
expected.
yet.
Also, as a side note, we do have 4 unsealed spell books, a first in an international game. So that's both supports, rest, and owner. So
good luck calling smite fights,
don't. So yeah, there's going to be up to 3 smites at any given point in this game. So
yeah,
we'll just keep our eyes on the kill feed, shall we, to see who actually gets it. As once again, another very positive topside trade. Kaiwing not able to body block that.
Oh, and it's looking like early game link in the accept in mid. As owner might be caught here.
Satchel charge, good damage down on the owner, but they don't really have great follow-up at this point. Instead, they're going to turn back onto Faker. Junja grasping roots. Does manage to get him. A little bit of damage on the Faker. They don't quite want to commit for anything else, but Faker doing what he can to weather the storm here as Kaiwing and Doggo.
This is what we were talking about. It's just a range advantage. Just, you know, Honkyu is looking, but Faker actually getting a good amount of free poke there. Shields down now. Rocket jump is available, but he can't do it with the turret the way it is.
Ready to wrap around in the mid lane. Meanwhile, on the top side, rest! Taken down by Doran. In game 5, when you need him most, there he is. A matchup he had to win, almost 800 gold already in his favor.
Parker Lord arrives exactly when he means to. The head-to-head was already going well, but as Ornn, you're expected to take a bit of a beating, but we've upgraded from a bit to kind of a knockout punch here early on. Doran finding the solo kill. We'll see CFO answer, knowing that a lot of attention was paid 41 toward the top side of the map. They're all on recalls as well, but they do this pretty slowly. Owner's there.
Junja looking for the root, looking for the knockup. Owner taking a decent amount of damage, but I don't really think they have enough to finish the kill before anyone else arrives. Keria does have access to the Abyssal Voyage, moving in.
It's going to reset.
Reset. Oh, devastating for the side of CFO. Just able to grab that aggro.
On the way.
Now here comes Keria, but Honkyu's on the way here too.
He has smites!
Keria in the midst of the team. Keria with a smite ready to go. And then the end of the day, it's a different support. It's Kaiwing. Supports across the board. Kaiwing escaping. Guma flashes. He can't finish it.
And the dragon goes to Kaiwing. The one smite I don't think we noticed. Guma flashes but doesn't get the final auto as Doran.
Doran Rest still going toe-to-toe. Nice flash to get away. Respecting the all-in potential of an Ornn with level 6. He's also taken Ignite from the Summoner Spellbook. Boy, I hate this room, but it's so hype.
And if you were worried that the tension would be there in game number 5, I'm not so worried anymore. Yeah, it's there. It's good.
T1 with a gold lead, it's almost entirely Doran. It's on him to push this lead forward and either break that tower or give his lead to someone else, support another lane. See if he wants to just keep the pressure on Rest.
One of the oh.
Gage, nice combo. Pull back onto Faker, good initial dive. Carrier coming in, but he's only level 5. They can't quite finish the kill on the Oriana. Kaiwing needs a way out. Gleaming Quill gives him a bit of health. Trying to get behind the minions.
Ooh, if Carrier has his Devour there. I think Kaiwing dies, but not going to be the case.
Really low, though. I don't know if he can afford to stick around. Doesn't have ulti, neither does Faker.
I do think, looking at the compositions again, with how a lot of these early fights play out, T1 with both Jinx and Jace actually have so much effective range. Can be hard on the Zyra to really get the most value, right? There are drafts where if your opponents are mostly short range, forced to jump into you. There's so much you can do, but this time around, Junja is going to be relying on Rest and Kaiwing setting him up. Kaiwing, especially after that early play, you got to be feeling good about, but Rest definitely struggling in the lane. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. His owner starts up the grubs here early on.
The other big thing is this Jace is a constant pressure point, which means setup is that much harder. We know the dream situation for the Zyra, that you have to fight into her.
Owner's like, not again. Doesn't even have smite. Doesn't matter.
Wants to get it. Junja now on the way. Hongq on the way. Carrier, only level 5, can't save the day, but they're looking for a little bit more. Hongq goes right in and is going to try to take down Owner. It's a solid ult to kick things off. Owner going to fall, goes over the wall. Satchel charge, just barely lives. And they managed to get all the grubs. Excuse me, no, the last one. Taken away. I thought the Jinx got it, but
it was close, but not quite. It's Rest not able to join. Obviously also still sitting on the Ignite, but even with TP, wouldn't have mattered. Doran is keeping him locked in lane.
The gold close. T1 slightly ahead. Scruggs spots them with the sweeper. Kaiwing goes in, doesn't find his target, and now they're forced to back away. Hongq. Faker! Push back. Flash is out of safety. Faker now on the chase. Flash of his own. One more auto will seal the deal. One more auto and he gets it! Redemption for the first few games. Faker finds his form in Game 5. The laning phase will not belong to Hongq again.
That's the reps on Oriana right there paying off. As that is now the second solo kill found for T1. The CFO games, both of them could not be more one-sided. Master classes in snowballing the game.
And even in the midst of the explosive action mid lane, it's still just Doran on the bottom side of the map, slowly but surely extending this gold lead. Rest, there's just nothing he can do.
And for Junja, there is so much he needs to do, right? Like, he can't help the tank. Needs to try and play towards his top side that's getting pushed in as, oh, Rest.
Rest in trouble, drops the Ignite early.
Because of his W. That's going to be enough. No wave right now. Junja looking for top. A punish would be huge here.
Carrier level 6.
Oh, no ult for Kaiwing.
Can try to take Guma out. Junja locked up, goes for the root. Good sidestep. Means everything's fine, and that hurts for CFO.
There's not too much of a cross map, but that is going to be yet another chicken camp being picked up by Owner here. And Junja, because
Rocket
he's
to cancel
the tempo.
T1 know they're in the lead. They know they've got these winning lanes, and they just want to keep pushing.
As Owner. Oh, saw the ward coming.
Owner ready to go. Sees the TP coming in, though. Kaiwing on the way. Now ticking over to level 6.
Faker doesn't have flash, so there is a lot more playmaking potential here for CFO. They need to answer towards this top side, though, because of the play that they found to cancel. T1 just keeps on pushing. So Junja needs to deal with bot side because they're getting pushed in. Because Guma has range advantage. Kaiwing and Dogo can't do too much. And then obviously Rest is going to struggle, but you can kind of let that one go at least for now. But then the fact that Hongq with the early leads just now got solo killed by Faker means that that lead is gone as well. And that's why the
another back
Zyra isn't even ahead.
And you're starting to see the cracks in the armor. CFO.
Guma?
So many explosive early games as Guma. Calls out Junja, good initial route, ulti to follow, so much damage now onto the Jinx. Junja can't quite follow it up at a big chunk. Carry immediately sprinting up to the top side, knowing he needs to be there to defend his AD carry. Ghost burned.
Guma
Flash now up for Guma.
I don't think he can. Reinforcements are on the way though, and oh,
Junja has to be careful.
Might be trying to play a little greedy here as carry out.
Ulti, flash over the wall coming in from Junja, sees the Tom Kench, but in comes the Rakan just in time. Guma playing on the edge, however. Devour there to keep Owner standing. Doggo wants to finish that kill, but they can't get anything. And the wave now deleted. They're likely to tank this. Knockout coming in from the Tom Kench. Doggo still going forward. Ulti coming from Jinx. Doggo finds the first kill. Hongq ready to go over the wall. Feathers fly. Doggo wants to stay safe.
Carrier's still stuck. There's no TPs available. No one can help him.
Faker uncontested mid lane. Missile dive coming out. Doggo has to be careful, though. Carrier does a lot of damage. The Q healing as well, going to be clutch, but a few plates to the side of CFO. Unfortunately, Faker still pushing in the mid lane.
And what they will deny, a lot of resources from Guma, still feels like a trade as opposed to just a win for CFO. I think they're still going to be happy about it.
Battle Kench.
Unless Q should be fine here. Carrier.
Use the rocket jump. Ulti forced. Carrier putting down a lot of pressure there. Rest doing what he can in this bot side matchup.
It's scary, man. Giant catfish walking towards you.
I mean, if you hit the Q,
Oof.
you're going to hit the W. Tough situation.
A lot of minions going by the wayside here for CFO, but I think those kills and the fact that Guma doesn't just get to run away with this matchup, put some resources into Doggo, definitely a good call there from the LCP representatives.
Certainly helps out. Again, range is the big issue. How do you get in range? Some defensive tools of your own. It's not like T1 have the greatest engage options, but if Jinx can keep you at arm's length, it might not matter as Skywing.
Oh, Carrier.
Bots Carrier. Carrier pretty damn tanky, and Faker hungry for blood on that top side. Didn't hesitate to go all in the last game, won't hesitate to do it again here.
Ulting for tempo is Rest.
Rest looking for the angle, but it's just not enough. Down he goes. The feat of warfare, the rocket. Not gonna connect. T1 starting to run away with it. CFO.
Carrier has exhaust available.
Looking for the return play, well highlighted. Lock it too. I don't think there's a dive angle here, but CFO are desperate to find something. Junja's damage is okay, but
he does have the Leandries. I feel like they're pressed into this. On the other end of the map, Owner's taking Dragon. Doran is just pushing. They gotta try.
CFO, they need this to work. Taking their time. Junja, good lockup. Ulti going down. Carrier staying next to Faker. Faker not gonna get caught though.
They can't.
They get nothing.
They lose the first turret. Reinforcements arrive. And CFO see T1 take a great trade now.
Stone Cold unfazed. CFO still pushing. Carrier ready to go. Doggo walking forward, and Carrier's there. He sees the play coming. Doggo goes up, comes right back down. Feathers pulled back. They can't quite finish Carrier. Doggo exhausted, and down he goes. Carrier still standing. His Doran is there right in time. It's a TP in, but it's too damn late. Honq wants something back, but Owner will not let him have it. T1. An incredible fight, and it's starting to feel like there's nothing left in Game 5 for CFO.
And as the arena erupts, the pressure is relentless. Topside turret falls. Mid lane falls. The dive. A failure, and CFO. They got so insanely close. I understand why they go for this play. Again, they're losing on all the other sides of the map. It's a Hail Mary, but T1 is ready. Even though Doggo's timing is good, the exhaust means that Carrier just stays alive. Doran shows up, and then Honq feels priced in. Maybe he can get a kill. The fact that he doesn't even get the Kench, even if it wouldn't have made the play better, it's insult to injury, and Junja can only watch as his teammates are taken down one by one by T1.
Fans erupt, even as Faker is stone cold. And you gotta give credit to Carrier. The Poppy game, so many incredible moments. It's hard to replicate that on Tahm Kench, but he was exactly where he needed to be. The exhaust,
it's the engage Kench, man.
Perfectly timed to keep Faker standing.
Oh, CFO though, they're not gonna give up.
Certainly aren't. Lock up there, ulti going in onto Faker. Faker likely to get taken down.
That's
Junja will live.
one!
Big shutdown, but in the meantime, the rest of the map falling apart. Rest in trouble as Owner goes 1v1 versus the Ornn. And Doran still just keeps pushing these waves forward. Rest using the unsealed heal. Trying to do what he can, but there's two towers being assaulted. CFO, they're finding one or two kills back, but look at the difference in gold. 5,000 in the favor of T1. They can play team deathmatch all they want, but T1 are playing the entire map.
And yes, we see the bounty. It's going to be picked up here by Honq, most likely with the E. Although, oh, he might be paying because Junja's looking to get ahead of the play, looking to get ahead of the punish. Maybe just trying to execute, but I don't know if that's going to happen with the Jays. Same for Honq, but he's stuck, Dracos.
That he is. Junja also caught out.
Not
he gets
like
taken down.
He gets the execute.
The execute crucial.
Honq
They're trying to donate the kill. They give it to Faker. And that is not what you want to see. You do not want to see three members of T1 standing in front of you while you have a blinking red health bar waiting for the appropriate carry to come get the gold. It feels like the writing is on the wall.
And in theory, right, if Rest can get to level 13, 14, start giving out these ornaments. If Doggo can be set up by the rest of his team. You have double AD carry as well. Your mid to late game team fights are absolutely disgustingly strong. But T1, they're just not going to let you get, and let's be real, it's not like their team fight is bad.
He out from rest, CC there, Kaiwing trying to make the difference. Ulti going in, the Forge got called, but Junja already exhausted once again. The carries just cannot get their damage down. CFO still stepping forward, uncertain if they can keep this fight going. T1 happy to take the tower and retreat.
CFO holding on to the remnants of their base, knowing it's taken just, it's 17 minutes in. It's a 6K gold lead.
And you wished for a close game 5.
Yeah, that's my bad.
And you're not going to get it, it would appear.
Well, hey, never say never.
Never say never.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Glass half full.
Sure. We do need some
things.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah, something needs to happen.
Some oopsies.
I'm looking at maybe another Dragon Steel.
It's possible.
Maybe an Otacon.
Definitely possible.
Baron? Yeah.
You've listed lots of places where people throw games.
Exactly.
What I will say is...
Diving too deep on the Nexus, that's a classic.
I think when you think about T1, we said it before, they're a team that always peaks at the right time. And usually I think about it as series. But right now I'm thinking about it as games, because in game 5 they've been clutch. They found Junja. Nice Mikhail's coming through from Kaiwing to keep him standing, so T1 not able to find that pick.
No reset.
But they do get some major cooldowns. Faker just waiting in the brush. Ward over the wall too. Ball there. Owner still stepping forward. Carrier ready to back him up if he needs to. Shockwave only connecting onto Rest, not the ideal target. But Faker just, and the rest of T1 just don't want to let them back into their own jungle. Trying to keep the pressure on, but it's Honq. Not afraid to step forward.
Shielding. Carrier was still in the area as well. Still at Locket, still at Heal, still at Devour. This is the problem, is that when you get ahead with a composition with both Orianna and Kench, T1 can't just have someone be a little bit too far forward. There is so much shielding, so much safety that's available here.
It's also incredibly difficult because the exhausts that are coming in from having double Summoner Spellbook just make it so easy. If anyone does even manage to pop off, is CFO.
Should be able to get the bounty. It's about the exit here, Dracos.
T1 playing for the kills, 2.3K. Where's the objective going to go? 1600 Dragon getting lower. Ornn called. Owner trying to retreat. Honq into the back line. The rest of CFO a little bit split. Faker about to fall, but Faker remains standing. Crucially, carried in the midst of the team. Feathers ready to go. T1 continue to advance anyway. Unconcerned. Doggo pulls the Feathers back.
On a flank. He's behind them.
Owner ready to go. Shockwave connecting on a Junja, getting down whatever damage he can. Owner playing with his food, keeping him slow to Shock Blast. Massive damage. The ulti! He slides, he glides, he finds the angle, and carry is not done.
Buddy, calm down. He's in the base.
He's looking to break it open. Not what I expected to see at 20 minutes, the Tahm Kench solo push, but here we are, T1. When they find the lead, they are a terrifying team.
Oh, and
CFO are being reminded of that very quickly.
They're not going to be in a position to try and contest this. Otacon picks off one of the list, or possibilities on our list. Just not going to happen. Honq close to a second item, but still so far away. Doggo has his, but he, again, is always going to be reliant. Xayah, when you're playing into Orianna, when you're playing into Jinx, his character just has very, very limited effective range. As Aguma now sitting on his IE. Faker's just going Death Gap second.
He's locked in. He knows they have the damage advantage. If he gets a good ulti off, it does not matter if he dies. They will wipe the fight. Doran.
Opportunity?
He's 5,000 gold ahead individually.
We haven't talked about him in a bit.
He could just give money to any one of his teams and they'd all be an item ahead of their opposition.
That's an absolutely insane. And more
like
importantly,
the ornaments don't balance this out. They're like 1,000 gold worth of stats apiece.
Well, he's also level 12. There's no ornaments. There's nothing there.
I don't know where he goes to farm. He's another support.
Oh. And Doran on the Jace.
Oh.
Poignancy of the moment. Not lost, I think, on any T1 fan. Opportunity now ready. Started with his early solo kill. Bolstered by help from Owner. CFO just desperately holding on. Only a game and a half ago, it seemed like they were on the verge of doing something that had not been done in 13 years.
Now it's feeling very far away as T1, again, sometimes they misstep. When it matters, they always seem to show up. And you can see death cap completed for Faker, double items for Guma. Just bits and pieces for Hongq. Doggo at least has 2 items of his own, but again, the range. We don't even know how they walk up into this team. Even without the Tahm Kench, these fights would be hard as Doggo loses so much of his HP.
There's the
CFO determined to try and find the fight, looking for the lockup on the carry. It's Torn who's been exhausted. Torn in the midst of the team. They're trying to burn through this Jace and get that shutdown as quick as they can, but the shot claim is good. The reset is there. Guma's damn well getting excited even as the feathers fly. The knockback from Hongq was decent. They're trying to hold on, but T1, they want to end it quick.
They just don't have the money. They don't have the stats, they don't have the items. Donor is just standing there leisurely tanking the turret, and Doggo trying to hold on.
There's nowhere for him to go. His base is falling to pieces. The fountain, the last bastion of safety in this game 5. T1 only 23 minutes in.
No. No, 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 not like this, Dracos. 3 seconds,
on.
I don't think they can actually end. Junja on his way.
Doggo dead.
Maybe a TP angle, but the people of TP not alive just yet.
And at this stage of the game, 10,000 gold for T1. It would take a miracle for CFO to find a way back in. T1 will give them the respect to play it safe, to play it smart. But the map is just getting smaller and smaller.
They don't get to play the game, right? It's why we always talk about when you get to this point, you just don't have the items to take anyone down unless they massively overstep. And T1, they've been playing pretty deliberate as I say that. Faker will be found here by Rest. Has his own ornament now.
3 members of T1 waiting over the wall, and it was a trap. Baited beautifully all along, T1. The wave on bot side might be the final. Double 80 carries, Kaiwing. Carrier, unafraid, unthreatened.
The magic was so close here in Vancouver. But it looks like reality has set in, Draco says. The Nexus is about to fall!
T1 sending a reminder, you might take 1 game. You might take 2, but you are not taking the series. The world champs reigning will move on in the upper bracket.
And to me, what summarizes this series is the faces of Junja and Hongq. Do they look devastated that they lost? Yes, but also smiles because they know that series was something special.